Guys, welcome back here to Kings of the Storm 5. I am Solid Jake.
And I'm Kubi.
And we're getting ready here for Game 2, but
Yes.
oh my goodness, what a Game 1.
What a game one. What a draft. That was just some wacky strategies. We saw double support for the second time in 2 days.
Yeah.
Off 2 different teams. And
it wasn't even the same supports. I mean, this
no,
time we saw Mouth.
2 different sets of supports there. And one of them was sort of like a steal to make sure that the other teams wouldn't get double support. But this one was all about the lockdown. And really just securing a ton of value for Ravenous Spirit, which, by the way, worked really well. Every single Ravenous Spirit went full duration, did full damage, got tons of value out of it. So kudos to them for making such a weird strategy work, and it looked good.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw an Odin willing away at the Nazebo, but unable to even really touch him with that double support. Yeah. And, of course, when you're an Odin, you can't throw that grenade for the interruption, so it's a trade-off. It's like, okay, when I'm an Odin, I can deal more damage, but I lose my interrupt. And it's a crappy situation. It's like, do I drop my Odin to try to get rid of this?
Which is, it seems kind of a ridiculous thing to have to even consider, but it was something that they had to think about in those situations.
So Kubi's getting the lobby ready for us, and we're going to figure out who wants to be the host, and the draft will be going underway. Going to Cursed Hollow for
Cursed Hollow. Yeah, so no shenanigans from either of these teams. They want that most neutral map possible between Dragonshire and this one. I think a lot of teams would agree that is the case. So
we're still waiting on one member to join this draft. It's going to be Soldier. There he is.
And
boom,
we're
bam,
in.
boom.
I think that as soon as they're good to go, we can start with the draft.
Yep. I'll be hopping over that in just a second, guys.
All right, so do we expect to see any weird strategies out of Barrel Boys here? Do you think that they need to? Should they just try to do something standard? They're obviously a very solid team. Mm-hmm. They're capable of taking games off of Tempo Storm here with a very normal strategy. But do you think that they should try to give themselves an edge by doing something weird? Or is it too much of a risk here because they are down a game? Or it is double in bracket. They can.
I think we're going to see a ban on Kerrigan. I really think we're going to see a ban on Kerrigan. I think they'll take. So they choose first pick, or second pick. Oh no, he's saying, and they want first pick. So they want first pick.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's going to be Barrel Boys having the first pick, which means they ban out first.
Yep.
I really think they'll ban out Kerrigan.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah. Okay, so we're actually going to switch to the draft screen.
Seems to be the #1 ban all the time. I don't know what that's about. People just really realizing the value of Kerrigan here. She's obviously very good, especially in the right hands. Like someone like Glaurung, who got a ton of work done in that last game, even opting to go Maelstrom, which it seems to be a little bit split between some of the pro Kerrigan players these days, but he really likes the Maelstrom. He's feels comfortable using it, and it gets him that extra shielding the more people he's hitting. So, he knows what he can get away with, and he didn't die very often that last game. So,
he got out of so many situations where he just seemed like he had no right living, but having the double protective shield, having the Uther and the Mouth Fury, and it was just like every single time he got low, it's just like, oh, here's a heal, oh, here's another heal, oh, here's a protective shield. It's just like, oh my goodness.
He could get away with so much more because of that double support. And then, you just sit that Nazebo in the back, and he's stunning people. Nazebo's wailing away with Ravenous. It was a really cool strategy, and it worked, I'm sure, exactly as they wanted it to. So,
how often do we see Kerrigan out-damage Nazebo?
Yeah, it's rare.
All because of the heals. It's because he could stay in longer. Yeah.
Sure.
So, we do have that first ban of Kerrigan, and it is Tempo Storm's. I almost said Symbiote. It's Tempo Storm's ban here, and they're going to really be debating, do we either want to ban out Stitches or Tychus, and it's actually going to be Tychus.
Yeah, it's going to be Tychus.
They're giving up Stitches, but do they take Stitches?
Yeah. Do they first pick Malfurion just to make sure that they can't do that strategy? Obviously not going to happen.
That's a bold statement, but
and really, what do they want to take a top tier tank, or do they want to try to deny out some of that DPS? And if that's the case, they're probably going to go Tassadar, especially considering that we're on Cursed Hollow. So it's either going to be Tassadar or Stitches, I would guess.
I would agree. Vala's the third option on the table here that they could grab, but Stitches on this map is really strong, and we've seen Atlanta just flat out win games with hooks. I think that's a very
I'm leaning to
option.
Stitches.
Yeah, me too. But we'll see. We'll see what they value the most here, because Tass and Vala are both huge.
Yeah. What do you think it is about Vala that teams don't want to pick her by herself? She's never the first pick. She's always grabbed in that second and third pick on the second pick side. It's just I don't know what it is.
I just think it's kind of the way it ends up panning out.
People are okay to grab Tassadar that first or Kerrigan in that first slot, but never just Vala.
Yeah, you're right.
And she's so versatile too, so you would think that it would be okay. Like you can build any other team around her. It's just kind of funny how that works out. But
Yeah, I just think it kind of happens to end up that way. I don't think there's any crazy meta we're missing on that.
Yeah.
Well, they are debating their decision right here for the first pick, and still leaning towards Stitches. Now, on Cursed Hollow, I think Tyrande is very likely because both teams are known to run Tyrande. Even though Kerrigan's not here, it doesn't make her a bad pick. I think, actually, we're going to see the first pick here on Stitches for Barrel Boys, and I actually want to say I want to see an Arthas and a Tyrande happen at some point, but Tassadar Vala as their first 2 picks here for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, so Tassadar Vala, no super shock there. Okay, I was about to say, I wonder if Tempo is going to try and grab Zeratul at some point, because no Kerrigan, you have no Stitches left, so it's like, Glaurung's like really super top tier heroes that he's known for are sort of getting picked out pretty quick. So we do have that Nazebo Zeratul.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, we've seen them play this before. The hook with the Void Prison can be terrifying, and then you throw a Ravenous Spirit on top of it. I mean,
absolutely.
Already, I mean, we haven't seen much of Tempo Storm's draft yet, but this is looking like a more comfortable
I
draft.
like what Barrel Boys has got so far available to me. Like, I mean, they can just pick up a pretty standard healer and another DPS dealer at that point, and they've got a really solid draft. So
yes.
It's going to be pretty hard for Tempo Storm to outdraft them at this point. They're going to get the strategy they want, especially having Zeratul already picked up. So at this point, they should just go with what they're comfortable with and just try to play, I guess, a more straightforward game. Yeah, so we're going to have to wait just a bit here. So I would expect... I don't think Barrel Boys is going to try anything weird with double tank here.
We're seeing the Uther Mouth again.
What am I watching? Uther Mouth.
So they're putting no priority onto Arthas, and they're going for this double support.
Thrall? You think Thrall's going to be their last pickup?
No,
I'm just
they're not going to go without a tank. They have to get a tank.
Well, I mean, they have the double support. Like, if they had Kerrigan, like, they would probably just run Kerrigan and then just keep Kerrigan alive. Double protective shield, double burst heal.
I thought we'd see Tyrande, Arthas, but they're really valuing just the invincibility.
They can pick up Arthas and he definitely won't die, but he already kind of like doesn't die already. So it's like, what are they actually going for? They do have enough damage between the two. I mean, really, it wouldn't be completely shocking to see them not actually grab a tank. I was just figuring that they might try to grab some melee assassin that just gets in there and doesn't die. That's a possibility. Like, crazy. Illidan, that wouldn't be completely out of the question.
You're right. Tassadar with shielding mouth. I mean,
it's absolutely. I mean, there's like an 85% chance they're just going to pick up Arthas for their last year, or one of the other tanks. But like, I wouldn't be completely shocked to see Illidan or something ridiculous here.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, they're going to need the damage. That's for sure. Tassadar, of course, has a lot of damage output, and Malfurion can play a more damagey style. That's an option for sure. But I think we're going to see a pretty similar build. Now, this gives the options. They have 2 healers that can grab Healing Ward. They have 3 healers that can grab Protective Shield. 2 healers that can grab Mule. So they have like all these different options on that tier. With like, okay, do we want the sustain with the Mule? Do we want the Protective Shields? Do we want one Healing Ward, 2 Healing Wards? Like, there's a lot of options in the early game in terms of how sustain they want to go. And if they go triple Protective Shield, like, try to kill Illidan. Just try. Like, it's gonna be a nightmare.
I want to see it so bad. I'm getting hyped thinking about it. All right, so we're likely to see Barrel Boys pick up probably Brightwing and then another DPS. They could try to deny the Arthas, but I mean, they're just gonna pick up Muradin or something. I don't think it's gonna be that much of a deny play. Not enough to just sacrifice extra damage slots. So,
Nani? Rhaegar. Man, like my 2 favorite heroes to play. Barrel Boys, you're out for my heart. And actually, I think I have a PSA. So Barrel Boys is actually going to be giving out some keys on their Twitter. So if you guys, I don't actually know what the Barrel Boys Twitter is. Katia, you can link it in the stream for us here, or Steve might actually know. I assume it's at Barrel Boys, but Katia, their manager, is actually going to be raffling out keys via their Twitter. So check that out.
That's fun.
Some promo.
Nice guys.
Yeah. So that's another chance to get keys, and of course we have keys in the chat here.
ETC.
ETC. It's still still,
Yeah,
like,
cool.
that's
Cool to
the
see.
knockback, the lockdown, and just a team that is not going to want to die, but Glaurung is going to be a big priority target for those hooks, and if they're able to pick him off, he's going to die right quick. My question is, Jaina. Like, Rhaegar, I'm okay with. Rhaegar has got the mobility.
There's not like a lot left for damage at that point. That's what it comes down to. Hammer's not really that good of a pickup on this
I find
map.
that Zagara would be better.
Zagara's okay. Falstad's okay. I mean, if they feel comfortable on Jaina, go for it.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be cool. I'm excited to see. I'm always happy to see Jaina, and she's got the AoE. She's got the damage. Pretty darn sure she's going to need to grab Sprint here. And, well, it's going to be a cool game. I mean, we're seeing the double support back-to-back out of Tempo Storm. They've always been innovating the meta here. They've always been innovating compositions. And we're seeing it again here. I mean, Arthas wasn't grabbed at all. Like, they say, we want ETC and not Arthas. Like,
yeah. They're obviously feeling very comfortable switching over to this new, like, ETC meta. It's craziness. I mean, in the last... Wait. Every game that we've casted today has had ETC in it?
no. I have no
Jake
words.
throws the notebook down. Yeah, every game has had
What?
ETC in it. That's
You know,
really cool.
I knew this was an omen. This morning I was
omen.
doing a good omen, I was doing my Hearthstone dailies, and I was doing this cheeky build with
Here we
Shaman,
go.
where you get Sneed's Shredder, and Sneed's Shredder can actually summon random legendaries essentially when it dies.
Yeah.
So I did the reincarnate, and I used the other spell that makes you get. I had Baron Riverdane, so I got two legendaries. Right? It gave me 2 of ETC in Hearthstone. And that was just saying, look, today is the day of ETC. That's all
The
it means.
day of ETC. We'll see how it pans out for Tempo Storm here. It worked out pretty well for them last game. Pretty crazy strategy. Similar strategy. This one they don't have the Nazebo, but no Nazebo Kerrigan. They have the Tassadar Vala instead, and we'll have to see how it pans out for them. Speaking of those guys, on the blue side, the Tempo Storm team here, we have Arthlon on Malfurion, Dreadnought's going to be playing Uther, Glaurung on Vala, KO is on Tassadar, and Soldier's going to be rounding it out on ETC.
And that's your boys, Tempo Storm, but on the other half of the map, you got your Barrel Boys, and that's going to be Curse Fury playing as Stitch. He's not actually Curse Fury, he's just Fury. His name's wrong. He's got to get that fixed. Fanboy playing as Zeratul. Kubi has his head on the desk because he's not happy with that announcement. Trummel as Nazebo. Blink's going to be on a Rhaegar, and McIntyre is going to be playing as Jaina, rocking that Winter Veil skin.
I gotta say, I really like the little, like, quote-unquote plays that they put on. Tempo Storm does every time, like the beginning of that. So they're all lined up, right? And then you have Glaurung sitting there, like, running back and forth, like he's giving them
High
like a pep
fives.
talk.
Yeah.
No, he's like giving them a pep talk. I could
We
picture
can
him
hit it,
with like his
boys.
hands behind his back, pacing back and forth. All right, gentlemen, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna wreck them. I'm just like dying at the mental image. It's really funny.
It's very good. Well, look at the level 1 talents. We are actually going to look at Jaina a little bit here. As she's going to go for Deep Chill. Actually, not a very common talent that we see here, but it has a lot of power. I mean, that's an additional, that's 35% slow on every single ability that she casts. So auto attacks, no, but the abilities, yes.
Yep. I mean, you say not a very common talent, but really the only person that's been playing Jaina is K1 Pro. And that's for Vortex.
Yeah,
so.
we've seen Rajar dabble once or twice with him, but yeah, pretty much K1 Pro as the player for Jaina.
So obviously McIntyre has a different take on how Jaina should be played, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it's going to be cool to see for sure. Triple Conjurer's Pursuit
Yeah.
on the side of Tempo Storm. Want to have that sustain with the mana, and that's triple support. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm excited to see both the Rhaegar and just in general, Rhaegar Jaina is very strange.
Yeah. Now, of course, Jake says triple support, but the way that Tassadar is sort of played out, he's more of a damage-dealing role, especially with Archon in level 7. You get the crits on the Side Storm, so he's going to be putting out the damage. But I mean, he does still have the shield, a part of his basic kit, and he has the healing ward available to him at level 4. So nothing to slouch out healing-wise, but he's really on the team for that versatility for that damage dealing as well. He's classified as a support, but yeah, so don't get too confused by the fact that they're running triple support and that it sounds crazy. But
So seeing Jaina Hearth back pretty much means that, yeah, she's not going to be getting Arcane Intellect. Arcane Intellect essentially gives you unlimited mana in some regard, and opting to go for more damage. So Frost Shards, that actually appears on the Q. The Q can actually hit 2 targets with that. And of course, you're going to be seeing a build into that at this point. Now, Arthlon getting hit by that zombie wall. The roots go down, but he's actually going to lose his life here. A nice pickup by the team with that big rotation.
Yeah,
and
clean play from Barrel Boys there.
Yeah, that's what they need. First blood.
Absolutely. So actually, we see Mental Acuity grabbed for Tassadar. Doesn't need to grab the Healing Ward. Malfurion's got that covered, so they're not trying to double up too much on the Healing Ward, so why not grab that cooldown reduction on the Oracle there? You get tons of vision. This is a very small amount of time that it's actually down, so especially on this map, it's going to pay off a lot. I like this pick.
I think it's a good call as well. Seeing the double gathering power in Nazebo and Zeratul, so making sure they stay alive is crucial here for Barrel Boys so they get to scale and get stronger throughout the game. Slight experience lead. McIntyre in a terrible spot here, backing up. If they threw a root down or anything, I mean, they don't know where the enemy team is. They're actually opting for Cursed Fury, who is all alone right now, and the heals and the roots going down. Downing the roots, nicely done. Pouring a hook in, and I don't know. Very cheeky play by him there.
Yeah, that seems a little bit risky. And this really does push Cursed Fury back quite a bit. That is their front line. That is their tank for this fight. So I think they're just going to end up giving up this tribute, and they do indeed do that. Back to laning, which, by the way, Zeratul is bottom lane, soaking up all that experience. And that's exactly why Barrel Boys has that half-level lead right now. So something to consider. They give up that tribute, but they've got that good jump by getting that talent tier.
A few things to talk about here is actually we're seeing not Frenzied Regeneration here on Thrall. Rhaegar, he's going for the far side. So he's going for that vision, that map presence, just knowing what's going on. And he's going to grab Earth Shield at level 7. Now, Earth Shield, again, just shielding on the Lightning Shield.
And we do see that Frostbitten talent picked up at level 7 for Jaina. That's extra damage to those targets that are chilled. She does get crits for repeated chill attempts onto the same target. So we're going to see a little bit more damage output from Jaina there. And yeah, we do see once again the Elune's Grace on Malfurion. That's the extra range on all of his basic abilities. Cleanse on Uther. Battle Momentum on Val, that's pretty standard. Gets every auto attack will drop the cooldowns of her abilities. And yep, crit on Psystorm for Tassadar. That's
so they need that damage, of course.
Sure.
So we're going to be seeing a more damage-oriented build out of Tassadar. Kind of a more old-school fan. Has to blink on out of here. The stun out of Soldier will make sure that he does die, and that's
nice
a nice
rotation there.
But Cursed Fury, it's very low to getting, or very close to getting that. And the Roots on Blinks is going to secure his death. Oh, maybe not. Wolfie form. I always forget how nice
Yeah, that's pretty good. And yeah, because they're down a member too, this absolutely forces Barrel Boys to back up here. They are going to give up this tribute. They're not, I mean, they're behind in tributes, but they're still absolutely in this game. And they're probably just going to try to race to level 10 here. And if they can get a good timing window to push for that third tribute popping up before, them having level 10 before Tempo Storm does, that's going to be a big deal. And that might be the start of the snowball run forward.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how level 10 goes as well, because typically we see the Water Elemental, but the Water Elemental did see a change in the last patch. In McIntyre, we haven't seen a lot of his Jaina, so he could actually opt for Ring of Frost. Ring of Frost, very uncommon in competitive play, but definitely has some potential.
Yeah, especially when you consider the Void Prison too.
And yeah, Nazebo too, so I think it would actually pair well with Ravenous.
So if they do get that snowball rolling, do you think Jaina's going to be the one to start it? Jake's rolling his eyes. I gotta get him back for all these terrible puns he throws at me. Soldier out of position in the top lane here. Cursed Fury, Fan, and Trumbull all rotated up to secure that kill. So yeah, that's it. They're picking up level 10, but Tempo Storm's not too far behind. They're not going to get that timing window that they were hoping for. Of course, when the tributes spawn, it is sort of a variable timing window. And they were hoping that the tribute would spawn a little bit earlier while they had to 10, and Tempo Storm did not. That said, we are going to see a little bit of a fight here. Fan get blown up by that Divine Storm.
He went for the aggression there on a Glaurung, thinking he had the opportunity, but Dreadnought was there to throw not only, I mean, they had the root and then the Divine Storm to make sure that he was unable to get in, and he blinked in offensively, so it was a bad spot to be in. Now, of course, we did see the snowman there, but do you want to build a snowman? Well, nope, it's already dead. And, well, Trumbull going to be running away here. It is a 4v5 in favor of Tempo Storm. And the dance hits 3 members. This is absolutely horrifying. Trumbull could try to throw a Ravenous Spirit down, but is it enough? The Ancestral is not going to be able to get off, and no heal will be available for our now dead Jaina.
Yeah, that hurt. That was a lot of damage. That was a really nice dance. And it was just Nazebo that was left outside the dance. So it's like there's no interrupts available for him to deal with that. So nicely played from Soldier there, picking up 3 people in that dance and securing a couple kills.
Yeah, and that's 3-0 in terms of tributes right now. The kills look at 3-2, so it's pretty even in that regard. It's definitely not over yet, but this is an opportunity for SMG to start to take a bit of an experience lead during this curse.
Absolutely. We can already see that they have pushed out that top fort. They have killed it, and it looks as though some of their members are rotating down. Tassadar is actually kind of far away from the rest of his team. We see that they are going to rotate down to try and take some pressure onto this mid lane. We do see that hook in that gorge.
Now this is really nicely done, but ETC can dash forward, and he's going to be just fine. The Ravenous Spirit goes down. The big board prism, ETC walks on into it. That Snowman going to town. They need to drop that VP Soldier super low, but this double support just keeping him alive. They got these hooks. They used the gourd. It seemed like a huge play, but without the tower shooting due to this curse, just not enough.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, the VP actually ended up working against them a little bit. They had a pretty good setup for the Ravenous Spirit, but because of the Void Prison, it makes the enemy team invulnerable. Anybody caught inside. Really nice hook onto Archelon there.
It's still not going to be enough for the Divine Storm coming out. The Ancestral Healing just enough for Curse Fury, but they do in fact lose their tool. Whew, everyone is so low. I mean, they did so much damage in that fight, but double support.
Yeah, that Ancestral Healing was pretty good damage control for the situation. 4 Barrel Boys, they are still down, of course, in that team fight. Actually, wait. Yeah, okay.
They lost one. Yeah, it was a 1-for-0 in favor of Tempo Storm. We can see that level 13 has been attained here by Tempo Storm, and we're looking at the talent. Actually, Ice Block, yeah, very interesting. So if Malf is a priority target, well, it shouldn't be because he's never going to die.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then we have the Sprint picked up on Uther. That's a pretty standard talent. He's able to basically boost his move speed by quite a bit for about a second or two. He can dash in, basically throw down his Divine Storm, and that's going to be a lot of utility for him. We have the Frost Shot for the slow on Vala. Prescience, and he's probably going to go Dimensional Warp at level 16 for that, just to make him actually difficult to kill. Yep. And Uber Rockstar on ETC for that movement speed bonus.
Now, Feral Lunge picked up here on the other side. They give you that 200% crit damage on your first lunge. So when you attack out of the wolf, you dash forward and you do 200% damage. Sprint on Jaina, no surprise there. Relentless for Stitches, Wormhole for Zeratul, and Sprint on Zebo.
So, I mean, they do have a healing ward and the Ancestral Healing. Do you think that, is there any other good healing type talents available for Rhaegar at level 13 that he could have grabbed instead?
There is, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Trouble, we see the Ancestral Healing going down on him to make sure that he stays alive here. The dance was used as well. So Soldier no longer has that dance. Feral Lunge doing a good amount of damage, and that, again, this board prison is working a bit against them. We see the Ravenous Spirit doing work, but through the healing, it just actually means nothing. Here comes Tranquility, keeping the entire team alive. They just can't plow through them no matter what they do. They've lost one. Fury's in a bad spot here. He will likely fall. One more hit will do it, but Fan coming around,
not enough.
keeping him alive. But McIntyre's going to lose his life. Fan's going to lose his life, and it's going to be just Blinks and Fury staying alive.
Yeah, 3-for-0 in that situation there. Very well done.
20,
so
20K.
I presented that question to you. Now looking at it, they just don't have enough damage.
Yeah.
They need a little bit more burst to get through the ridiculous amount of healing on that side of things. So
I think that's why they picked up Jaina, because she does have a fair amount of burst.
Yeah.
It's still not working out for him.
Yeah. Jeez.
What's the answer to this?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. And Social Healing has gotten a lot. I mean, there's not enough auto attackers in their team to really justify Bloodlust. The movement speed isn't even really the issue either. So that's not really the call to make. Maybe Putrid Bile? I mean, the idea, of course, is to get the hook and to gorge that person away, and I guess to burst them down. So I guess they probably need to try to focus on that a little bit more, try to zone out the rest of the team. They need to stick to the hook and then Void Prison the rest of the team out. They need to try to execute that strategy to start coming back in this game here. Because as it stands, they are 2 levels down, and they got a lot of map presence that's being put on by Tempo Storm to deal with.
And yeah, Corey, if they weren't hard enough to kill as it is, well, now we have Hardened Focus with more healing, Dimensional Warp. We have Stone Skin, Blood for Blood, and Hindering
Moonfire. I was going to actually ask you about this one. That's interesting.
I think it's the most common pick of at this tier at this point.
He also has Hardened Focus, and he has Entangling Roots, too.
Yeah, Entangling Roots is great.
Or Tenacious Roots.
The Tenacious Roots, yeah, the increased duration is great, but Hindering Moonfire, I mean, it's just locked. It just slows people down.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of range, especially when you take a Loon's Grace. That's quite a bit of range on that slow that's presented there. It's 2 seconds for 20%, which basically allows anyone to get chased. Also, that skill has a really low cooldown. It's something like 4 seconds maybe. I forget what it is.
It doesn't even have a cooldown. You just spam it.
It's pretty low. Maybe 3 seconds. Yeah, so you can cast it very often.
Farsight being used here to give vision of these guys, and we're actually seeing a big rotation coming out of Arrow Boys trying to stop this, but is this a bait?
I mean, there's a lot of potential for dance that they have to be careful of. So you can see that they're sort of rotating around the sides, not grouping up the rest of their team there. They really want to contest this, but they're down a talent tier. They're down 2 levels. Tempo Storm has a huge advantage going into that, even if it's in a funnel point. They choose to give it up though.
Yeah, they don't want to make the risk, but still they're posing that threat. The hook goes out, but Arthline gets caught on the tower.
Yeah, that's what they needed though. They really need to get that long range hook. And I would say at level 16 they absolutely have to go for that fishing hook and really just rely on Curse Fairy to land those ridiculous hooks. And try to isolate members of their team.
Right, Hook Void Prison is actually their only real option of like crawling their way back into this. They're starting to fall further and further behind. SMG is rotating around to make sure they grab as many objectives as possible. We see this again. They're using that far sight to make sure that those giants stay safe. And that's getting that Merc camp would be a big deal, but they're afraid of a gank attempt.
Yeah, it was actually just too much of a risk for Tempo Storm to take at that point.
Look at this. They rotate up, they clear the wave, and they put the pressure back on down here.
Yeah, they still have control of that watchtower, so it's not exactly a free pickup for Barrel Boys to go for that.
Very true. Well, Farsight being used on the Knights this time. They should catch wind of Dreadnought, who's stepping on the edge right there, and they're making the rotation up to this top lane. The fan is out of position. Is the dance there? Ancestral Healing goes off. And does he have Blink? The Void Prison being used. Drops almost immediately. A lot of damage going down here, but the roots on McIntyre and Trummel is not what they want to see. Sprint coming out of McIntyre. Dance is being used, but the Ravenous has done a ton of work, but no one has died. Divine Storm fan's going to end up falling. Snowman going to town here, but look at the health bars of Tempo Storm. They're all quite full. The hook goes out, but doesn't quite hit. And
yeah, unfortunately, Fan really cost them that fight, I will say. He was just like super far out of position in that situation. They had to throw down the Void Prison to attempt to save him, the Ancestral Healing. And so the whole edge that you would have in the start of a team fight with the hook Void Prison is completely gone at that point. And then you have, we've talked about this time and time again, how Tranquility is like a pseudo counter to Ravenous Spirit, and they can't kill anyone. They just don't have the burst because of the sustained healing that's coming out of Malfurion, out of Uther, out of the healing ward. So they have to really just make sure that their positioning's a little bit tighter and actually get that long range hook. And we did see that he grabbed Fishing Hook at level 16. That's going to help quite a bit. I absolutely was hoping that he would grab that because that's really their ticket back into this game.
And 6-0 in terms of tributes right now. I mean, we see this boss pushing for Tempo Storm in the bottom lane. The enemy team is cursed, and they're just running around soaking. They said, hey, we got an advantage. We're just going to keep on pressing that advantage. When you're ahead, stay ahead.
Yeah. We see that they are rotating around, taking those to those Mercs camps. And
so, okay, Northern Exposure is going to allow for a lot more burst at 16 here. So that's actually a pretty big power spike in terms of burst ability. Earthgrass Totem for more control over the fight. We do have the Fishing Hook. We're seeing the double bombs, and we're seeing the specialized toxin. So yes, they have more burst, and this might be what they need, but they need to take a fight here and now.
Yeah, Gorge on ETC there. Curse Fairy is going to spin him up. That's not the target you want to grab. We have that Void Prison going down.
Where's the Ravenous? Where does Trumbull decide to line up for it? Does he have Ravenous available? Yes, he does, and it's doing a lot of work. We see Dreadnought's very low, but he goes forward with that Divine Storm, and he hits 2 members, locking them down. That strafe did a ton of damage. Soldier gets pulled in. We see the Ancestral Healing not going off, and that's just going to do it, guys.
Yeah, that's GG there. There was just they almost had the setup for it, but unfortunately the Gorge was on absolutely probably the worst target they could grab, unfortunately. In that situation, you got to take the hook and just let him walk away, unfortunately. Wait your next 12 seconds or so. But the problem is they're running out of time. You know, this golem is pushing down their bottom keep. It's going to die in the next 10 seconds by the time your hook's up. And then more or less, what are you doing? You're going to be hooking them to the other side of the core as they're pressing on it. So unfortunately, it all came down to that last hook. He grabbed the wrong target. So I can understand why he opted to go through with the Gorge, but there was just no scenario which you're going to get the kill on ETC there.
And, I mean, Tempo Storm just looking ridiculously good there.
Yeah.
Honestly, just really, really dominant fashion, really dominant play in general. Well played.
Yeah, that's going to be a 2-0 victory for Tempo Storm. They advance to the winners finals of this Kings of the Storm 5 bracket. Kudos to them. Of course, Barrel Boys will be they're not out yet. They're going to the lower bracket.
Yep.
And we're not actually sure what team they're going to be fighting against yet. We'll be updating the bracket for you guys in just a moment. But stick around for a little bit, and we'll figure out what match we're going to cast next. I imagine it will probably be winners finals between either C9 Vortex and Maelstrom, whoever makes it out of that team kill there. But yeah, we'll be back in just a minute, guys, after this quick commercial break.